How are we, lads? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Nick from Australia, and welcome to episode 12 of the Cowboys TV podcast. Hope everyone's doing well on this Wednesday evening. Apologies about the delay. Me and Callan were just rambling on in the green room a little bit, I guess, talking about whatever. But hope everyone's doing well. Callan, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, good, mate. Great weekend. Great result. I'm still on a high from the weekend, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a great weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And what
absolutely.
about that game over the Titans?
Yeah. No, it was good. Good second half, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Sorry, bro. I was just sorting out the stupid YouTube stuff on my phone. There we go. If you guys are new around here, don't forget to like the stream, subscribe to the channel. This is episode 12 of the Cowboys TV podcast. Magic Round is this weekend. Me and Callan will both be there. We'll get into that just in a little bit. But don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, guys, and make sure you go and check out Callan's YouTube channel as well. The link to his channel is in the description box down below. And we'll get to the live chat in a moment. But Callan, my friend, how was the atmosphere Saturday night up there in Townsville against the Titans?
Oh, mate, it was awesome. Well, there was how the announcers gets us going, and then there were a few other people, like on the other end, he was sort of screaming out, and then a little, you could hear a little bit of people following him, and then I started screaming. So I got out, and you just it was electric, man. It was pretty. I don't know what the crowd numbers were, but it was,
I think it was
like
20,000.
especially. What was that?
I think it was about 20,000. They said.
Oh yeah, it was good. And then second half when we started scoring shitloads of points, man, it was, everyone was just going off their heads. It was
great. It was great. Obviously, the first half is something to forget, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But first things first, hello to the live chat. Hello to everyone that's watching. Hello to Jason Reeder, HB Aviation, Will Stormfan is here, Josh, Gene, Jason Reeder, Luke Melbourne Stormfan, Lismore Garbo, Rishi. If you don't mind me saying, where are you located? Are you a Townsville local? No, I'm located in the Northern Rivers, Lismore Garbo. Northern Rivers, bro. Who else we got here? Riley, Josh, everyone that's watching. Hope you're all doing great. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. That is something that would be really appreciated, man. Appreciate it. Anyway, Lismore Garbo. If you know, you know. Lismore, bro. Lismore / Ballina, around that area, bro. All right. Obviously, fantastic game on the weekend. Great win over the Titans. Let's talk about it. 50-18. Gee whiz. 50-18. We were down 18-6 at one point, and things were not looking great. What the hell was that second half? I thought we were in trouble, and then we just clicked. Everyone just went bang. That second half, Callan, that would have been off its head up there in Townsville.
Yeah, man, it was everyone was really vocal. It was good.
It looked great on TV.
First half, like you said, like those three tries. Like I know we're a second half team. We're doing everything 2015 style. That's for sure.
Yeah, we are, aren't we?
But those three tries were just way too easy, and I tell you what, I was not feeling really. I was sick in the stomach, and that try before the end of first half, that the confidence that would have been given from that,
Yeah.
and then ever Todd Payton, it's like Paul Green all over again. The halftime sprays or whatever he does, it must really work.
Well, I mean, obviously, two of their tries were pretty soft, and I wasn't happy with it either. But the blatant forward pass try that they scored was, that was something, wasn't it?
Yeah. My attitude. I don't like blaming the referee. We were a bit poor. I know it doesn't help when you can throw gridiron passes, but if Latrell's was marginal,
Oh, this is worse than Latrell. This is way
it
worse.
was fucking close to it, mate.
I don't even think Latrell's was even that forward. I don't even know if it was forward.
Mate, that was fucking forward.
This Tino one on the weekend, it was like Mitchell Moses in the prelim. It was that level, if not worse. It was. I thought I was watching a game of AFL where you do a handball to someone. I couldn't believe it. I was doing a live reaction to the game on YouTube, and I was gobsmacked that they even played on. I'm like, all right, you got all the sin bin dramas at the moment. You got all these obstruction rules, where if it's a defensive decision or not. And then we get this unbelievably ridiculous, blatant forward pass that was, goodness me. I'm glad that it didn't affect the game, because this, it could have had an impact on the game where the Cowboys could have let that get to them and they could have held a grudge, when they would have had every right to be upset and hold a grudge. But goodness me, that pass was one of the worst calls I've ever seen. It was shocking.
The sin bin that they got, they got for tackling Dearden.
Yeah.
I don't. That was definitely not a sin bin.
No, it wasn't. But in saying that, Jay Clifford getting sin bin for the one on the halfback, I don't know what more Jay Clifford was supposed to do. Like, the bloke was going to run over him if he didn't tackle him. And to be fair, I don't think there was a whole lot in the Jay Clifford professional foul. I thought that was a really tough call.
I thought he was holding him back.
I don't think
without the ball.
I don't think he did. I think he kicked it, and then because of the momentum of where Weaver was going, Clifford just tackled him. You can't tell me that Weaver was going to get to the ball. There was no way in the world. I thought it was madness. Absolute madness. I couldn't believe it.
Well, they had offside players too.
Yeah, exactly. Mo Potawaka was offside, and then I think Bo Thermal was offside as well, because I think he was in front of the ricochet that happened. It was absolute madness. The professional foul was ridiculous. But you know what? It's a bit like what you said. Didn't really matter. The try that we scored right before halftime for Jeremiah Nanai to get it back to 18-12, to score with 12 men, to only go down by 6 at the break was huge. That was huge. We needed that, and I think that lifted the whole team going into the second half.
Yeah, 100%. I think that, is the difference between us, this year, is that ability to not be affected. And we did it last year too with 12 men, not being too affected by the sin binning, losing a bloke. Because if you fall into that trap of, having the poor me's and trying to find an excuse, because it is what it is. So I really take my hat off to the way that they just, however, what the mentality is. I think they must train a lot with 12 men on 13.
They have to. They absolutely have to. Well, I think every club does it now, because professional fouls Too many six agains, because the thing that everyone doesn't realize is the reason why there's so many six agains when you're defending your goal line is because you get your breath back and there isn't much space for the attacking team. Teams deliberately do six agains on the goal line just to frustrate them. And that's why they do it. That's why you see two or three six agains in a row on the goal line, and then the referee tells them to cut it out. And then if they do it again, it's a sin bin. And if they drop the ball, the team that's defended has literally won that whole period. And at training, I have no doubt that every team, especially the Cowboys, they're doing defensive lapses where they're defending with 12 men, 11 men, and they're doing a good job of it. But the thing is, when it comes to sin bins and stuff, 13 on 12 for 10 minutes, either two things are going to happen. You're going to concede one or two tries during that period, and it really might have an impact on the game, or you're going to defend it, do a great job, and maybe even score a try in that period with 12 men. So it's either going to be two things most of the time.
Yeah, well, like I said, having that confidence of not conceding,
Yeah,
and then knowing that you've got that extra guy coming back, if you can repel them, and even better, like we seem to do that a lot, is we repel, and we score.
yes.
So I think that must really fill the guys that, playing for each other. We've got each other's back. It's all right.
Don't stress.
We know the process. Let's just stick to what we know we can do.
Yeah.
So I really love that scoring with 12 men. Then we got Clifford coming on with a big rest.
Yeah, he's fresh, ready to go.
The 10 before halftime and then getting a halftime break.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you. The confidence with 12 men, scoring a try with 12 men, it's huge. Like, it's almost a game-changing situation. Like, sure, you might have a man down, but if you can score with 12 men against 13 and you're down by a try or you level the game, the confidence and momentum it gives you is unbelievable.
And what it must do to the opposition.
It rocks them. It rocks them every time.
Yeah, we're getting confident and they're getting, disheartened and probably starting to second guess themselves.
I remember the game against Penrith down at Combank in round 5. We had someone in the bin. I think it was Reece Robson. He was in the sin bin.
Reece Robson.
And I remember we scored with on the right edge with Viley with 12 men. And then I think I said to my friend Lufa and Lorenzo, who was there, I said, you have no idea the confidence that this is going to give us now. We just scored with 12 men. And I think at the point, I think it might have been 10 all, or we're down 12-10. I'm like, this is going to be a game changer, this. And it ended up being a massive game changer. So if you can score with 12 men or don't concede any points with 12 men, the confidence is massive, man.
Yeah, big time.
Obviously, on the weekend, the try scorers, we had Jake Clifford scored the first try. Jeremiah Nanai got a double. Robert Derby got a hat trick. Purdue got one. Robertson got one. And the milestone man in game 100, Murray Talangi got one. And for the Titans, it was Jojo Fafita, Brian Kelly, and Bo Fermor. But we don't count the Bo Fermor try because it was a 10-meter forward pass. But so it feels like a 50-12 win more than a 50-18 just because of that ridiculous try.
I will whinge about one decision, and this is like it's not really a bad decision. I think it's a bad rule. We got a 6 again, which in the old days is a penalty.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about here. Yep.
To speed up the game, it's 6 again, and then I forget what we done, and we lost the ball.
Yeah, I remember this.
It was a penalty or something, and I just thought, well, we've just got no advantage out of what would have been a penalty.
I know what you're talking about because I remember this live on YouTube when I was doing my watch along. We got a 6 again. I think Clifford knocked the ball backwards or knocked it on. Titans ended up with the ball, and I was screaming about it on the stream. I said, "We just got the 6 again with no advantage whatsoever. We dropped the ball 3 seconds later. Why wouldn't the referee blow a penalty? Because we haven't been given our advantage whatsoever." So you're right. It should have been a penalty. It was pretty ridiculous. I think
Yeah,
that was early in the second half as well. I
yeah,
think it might have been 18 all or something at that point. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, it was ridiculous. It really was. But
yeah. That
overall, yeah, go on.
yeah that those sort of things, which is to me just a silly rule.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb as shit. Overall, though, great performance, great win. 4 wins in a row now. We're playing great footy at the moment. And the Warriors this weekend won't be an easy opponent. We'll get to them in a little bit. But
What about Derby? How
Robert
good was
Derby,
Derby? Yeah,
his hat trick.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think
I was
some
just going to say,
freakish tries there.
he scored some. He scored some incredible tries. I was about to go to the 3-2-1, and this is a tough one this week because there were a lot of good players on Saturday night. Like there's probably 7 or 8 guys you could easily throw in your top 3. But 3-2-1, Callan, who would you go 3, 2, and 1?
Well, I'll go with the stadium gave it to Nanai.
Yeah,
Peyton gave it to Derby,
yeah,
and I think the Page give it to Dearden. So I
right,
reckon I'll follow that.
yeah. So
Um,
who would you say was the best?
I'll go Derby with his hat trick. I'll go Nanai, and then I'll go Dearden.
Yeah, yeah. I'm probably similar, but I'll go someone else to make it a bit different. I will go. Where is he? I was really impressed with him on the weekend. All right, number 3. I'm going to go Griffin Name. Griffin Name off the bench on Saturday night was outstanding. Definitely changed the game of his impact, in my opinion. Number 2, I think you got to go Jeremiah Nanai. He was outstanding. He was phenomenal on that left edge. And number 1, I've got to go with Tom Dearden. He had 5 try assists on the weekend and 214 run meters. Like, Tom Dearden was outstanding, and we'll talk about Dearden a little bit more in a little bit, but he was phenomenal. But massive shout out to Murray Talangi as well. Game 100, scored a try late in the game. I was a bit worried about him coming, if he wasn't going to come back or not due to the HIA there. He was off for about 20 minutes, but I'm glad he came back on and he scored a try in his milestone.
Yeah, that looked terrible.
The
That
head
head
clash
clash.
with Purdue.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh man. I was
I wasn't a little.
surprised Purdue just it didn't phase him.
No, he was all right, wasn't he? I was a little
Mate,
bit concerned.
you've just been smashed in the head by a coconut. You're a
Connor in
headlight,
the
I can imagine how hard Muzz's head is.
it would be pretty hard. It would be, no doubt. Connor in the chat says, Hess since coming back has been in some good form, less errors in his game. I think Cohen Hess is a smoky for Origin, for Queensland off the bench. I think he's a big chance. But we'll have to wait and see. I guess the next couple of weeks will determine Origin selection and whatnot, but gee, he's got to be close, Callum, for State of Origin, Cohen Hess.
Billy's an effort man, and Hess from game 1, like there were some things that he was doing in game 1 on effort areas.
Yeah.
Like I remember one of the ball kicking, I think it was a bomb or something. He was the first guy up there. Just it probably wasn't that beneficial because he ended up getting stepped around. But you go back to that effort.
Yeah.
Exactly he's in everything. He the big hit on Cleary.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's an aggressive bloke. He loves it. You know, he's right in it.
He's definitely had some big moments for us since coming back. Like you said, the Nathan Cleary tackle, which was almost a game-winning play, really, and effort areas. And I think the Broncos game, he had a try saver on Payne Haas, I think it might have been. So he's been great. I think he's a good chance for Origin, to be honest. Moving on, I want to talk about something here that no one's talking about on social media, except me, really. But Harrison Edwards, obviously, he came up to the Cowboys last year. I think it was the Gold Coast game last year where he debuted for us, and not many people knew who Harrison Edwards was. He was a bit of a young. It was a young forward at the Bulldogs, just looking for an opportunity, really, and he got offered to come up with the Cowboys, and he's sort of come in, and he's been doing a fantastic job the last few weeks. But Harrison Edwards has not missed a tackle in 3 games, and I know he was dropped for a couple of games because Todd was trying to get Kai O'Donnell in the team with Bateman and Nanai, and Tamaola came back from injury. So obviously Harry did miss a bit of football, but here's some stats for you from Harrison Edwards the last few weeks that have been very impressive. So the Panthers game, he played 43 minutes. He had 40 run meters, and he had 30 tackles, 0 missed. That's pretty impressive. And then the week after that, we played the Rabbitohs in Perth, so we're on a back-to-back. Harrison Edwards in that game, 22 minutes, 88 run meters in that short period is very impressive. And in that game, he had 11 tackles, 0 missed. And then we get to last week because we had a bye in round 7 against the Titans on the weekend. Harrison Edwards, once again, he played 29 minutes, 77 run meters, and he had 7 tackles, 0 missed. So for a guy that didn't really deserve to be dropped in the first place, has come in for an opportunity, wasn't supposed to play the Penrith game because Cotter was injured, wasn't supposed to play in Perth because Bateman was in hospital getting bit by a spider, and then obviously Kai O'Donnell made way for Harry Edwards against the Titans on the weekend. For a guy who wasn't meant to play, he has been phenomenal, and I just think he deserves a bit of a rap for his performances. 3 games in a row with no tackles. I think it's 46 tackles in a row. I'm impressed with Harry Edwards, and I think he deserves to stay in the team until further notice, to be honest with you, Callum.
Yeah, I'm a big fan too. I would have him in the side. I definitely would not drop him
No way.
Probably any reason, really. Like, I'd be looking at other players if you really wanted to make way for another player. He's just too versatile.
He is, isn't he?
He's got a lot of skill. That kick.
Oh, how good was that kick on the weekend?
There's not much he can't do. You know, he's a big boy.
He's a big boy, and I remember last year when we played the Panthers down there in Penrith during Origin when we had a lot of players out. Edwards played hooker that game, and he did a very good job. So I know with Reece Robson leaving at the end of the year, we're looking for a hooker. I don't think Harrison Edwards would be out of place if he played 9. I don't think he would be out of place at all.
Well, I'd be way more entitled to do that than spend money on someone that just might not fit into our club.
And they might get homesick, or they might not fit in. Is there really any point in paying $800,000 to get someone else when we can just build within? Like, obviously, we probably will buy someone because the salary cap will make us buy someone because of the top 30 thing. But I wouldn't have a problem with Harrison Edwards moving to 9 next year because he seems to be able to – everything that's been presented to him, every job he's been asked to do, he's been doing it, and he's done a fine job. So definitely wouldn't be out of place at hooker.
Well, we could just give him more money.
Well, yeah, that'd be nice. I'm sure he'll take that.
That would solve the salary cap problem.
Here you go, Harrison. Here's an extra $200,000 for another year.
And the paper bag on the back porch.
Well, not the Roosters.
We don't have a salary sombrero.
Yeah. Where's Uncle Nick?
Yeah.
Someone give him a call.
Here's Uncle Nick right here. Wrong Nick.
Wrong one. No, but he's been playing well, and I'm very pleased with Harrison Edwards. I think he's going well. So, good stuff. Moving on to the weekend's games. Obviously, Magic Round. We take on the Warriors, 5:30 Saturday, Suncorp Stadium. It's going to be a big one. The Warriors team, their name is quite strong. I think it's very similar to last week where they played the Knights on Anzac Day. But, Callan, what do you think is the Warriors' biggest strength and weakness?
Just having a look at the side.
Yeah. They've got a couple of good young players that I'm a bit worried about. Hopefully, we do a job on them.
Well, that
they got this young
seems to be playing better football every week. I haven't really had an opportunity to watch a lot of footy, like travelling every week. Chance, he's always dangerous.
He's a good player, Chance Nickel-Cookstad. I'll tell you what, keep an eye on number 4 for the Warriors, Ali Leotawa. He's a very good centre. He's up against Vilea this weekend, so that'll be a really good battle. And the other one to keep an eye on is this young gun back rower tearaway, Leka Halasima. I think he's going at Jeremiah Nanai, so that's going to be a really good battle. He's only a rookie, this young kid, Leka. I think he's only played how many games has he played? I don't think he's played a lot of NRL, but he's played 7 games, so he might be a bit of an unknown to a lot of people, but he's been one of the Warriors standouts the last few weeks. He's been good, so we're going to watch out for those two.
No, Fisher Harris.
That's a big loss. That's a big loss.
I think they're like a strength their halves, they're pretty good, but sometimes they make some really bad decisions.
Yeah, I suppose the other one I'm going to keep an eye on is the hooker, Wade Egan. He's been going well. There's talk of him potentially playing for New South Wales in the State of Origin. Some people say even over Reece Robson. So this will be a good battle this weekend between those two. Mm-hmm. And obviously Mitch Barnett, another one who's always a workhorse, always one to keep an eye on as well.
Capewell, he's another good player.
I'm probably on the other side of the fence with Kurt Capewell. I think he's very old and slow and coming to the end. But to be honest with you, this is going to sound harsh, and this could easily bite me on the ass by saying this. This could really bite me on the ass, but Capewell is the least. He's probably the Warriors player that I'm least concerned about. I'm not threatened by Kurt Capewell at all. And now that I said that, he'll probably score fucking 2 tries and have a big game, but hopefully not.
Yeah, he might be quiet at times, but they call him up for Origin.
Yeah, they do that a bit, don't they?
Yeah.
They do that a bit.
He seems to fill a lot of. He's a bit like our Sam McIntyre. They'll put him in centre. Like some of the things that he's done in his career.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But overall, I think the Warriors, they've got a pretty good side there. They're playing well. They're winning games, and they're currently 4th on the ladder. We're in 6th, so it should be a good game. But see, the thing is, Callan, when it comes to the Warriors, I do get a little bit nervous with the Warriors because you don't know what they're going to do. You can't really prepare for them. They're unpredictable. So hopefully we're at our best and we get the win.
They're a bit of a bogey side for us too.
Yeah, we haven't beat them for a while, haven't we?
Another player there, I'm just looking at the bench, Tamari Martin, an old Cowboy player.
He's been in reserve grade for a while, actually. He can't seem to crack the team, but he's in this week. So it's interesting where he's going to play. I'm not sure where he comes into it.
He might come on as a bit of a running forward, sort of like they do in Origin, just chuck him on.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I think he might come on and play a bit of hooker, and then Wade Egan could go to lock forward for a while. That could be an option for him. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, the Warriors. Look, to be honest with you, I've got nothing against the Warriors. I think they're a very passionate fan base, just like us, and I've got nothing bad to say about the Warriors. I think they're a very big, exciting fan base, and they're going to be there in big numbers on Saturday, and obviously we will be too. I think it's all sold out, so it's going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, very definitely looking forward to it. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic this weekend. All right. Well, let's get to the next question, the next topic, and then we'll get to the tips for the weekend's games. Oh, we're getting a phone call live on air.
No, that's the alarm set for the podcast.
Oh, shit.
Because when we were doing it at 7.
Yeah.
I just keep forgetting to turn it off.
The next topic, should Tom Dearden be the Queensland 6? Obviously, Tom Dearden, we all love him to death. We all want him to be at his best and do what he can for the Cowboys or for Queensland. But Tommy Dearden, obviously there's a lot of talk at the moment. It's between him and Munster. Do you think he should be the 5'8" at the moment? Or would you go with Cameron Munster? Would you go Munster fullback maybe and Dearden 6 with Cherry Evans? What's your take on this one, Callum?
Well, if Dearden's going to be in the side, it would definitely not be to replace Munster.
Right.
You know, the track record that we have with Munster playing at 6, like, I don't know, fans, help me out. Does anyone out there honestly think that Cherry Evans is better than Munster?
No, Munster's better.
So if I was going to have Dearden in the halves, it would be to partner Munster.
Yeah, right.
I know they're both sixes.
Yeah, I don't know if that will work. That's my only concern. But
they're both organising. Like Tallis even said it. And I've said this for the last 18 months.
Yeah.
Because I can see this happening when Daly Cherry Evans retires, is Dearden will go in the halves with Munster. That's if I was picking a team, that's what I'd do. They're both organising. You watch Dearden, especially when you're watching live football, he organises his side. So does Munster.
My only concern is, could Dearden be that dominant halfback, play on the right edge for a full game, and still have the same impact as he would on the left-hand side? That's my only question mark. Like, obviously, I have no doubt Munster and Dearden could work together and that they could do some good things, but could Dearden be that dominant 7? I'm not exactly sure.
He more or less played that role at Perth. He was on both sides of the ruck. he had a lot more touches than Clifford. If
I
he
don't know.
wouldn't look,
It's interesting because Origin's a different game to what an NRL game is, but I see where you're coming from.
well, Daly Cherry Evans isn't playing that great at the moment.
No, plus Manly's form's been a bit, all over the shop last few weeks until the weekend where they beat Penrith. But
Well, being Cherry Evans' last game, I think Daly will get number 7, and I think Munster will get 6.
yeah,
Like I said, I've been cheering for Dearden and Munster to be the halves, like especially moving forward. So I
yeah.
wouldn't. I'd be happy for Dearden to be on the bench.
Jersey 14.
Yeah,
Well, what I would do, and I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now, I think because all of the Queensland fullbacks are out of form, Walsh is injured, Ponga's in terrible form because the Knights are a mess. I would be going Munster fullback, Dearden 5'8", Cherry Evans halfback. I'd be doing that, and Ben Hunt on the bench. I'd be doing that. I think Munster has proven at Origin level in the past that he can play fullback and do a great job. Dearden is the best 5'8" in the game at the moment. And you know what? If we get to a situation where Ponga is fullback and they have to make a decision between Munster and Dearden, I would have to go with Dearden because Dearden the last two years has arguably been better than Cameron Munster. I know Munster's different in Origin, and I get it's a completely different game, but if we're picking on form and we're picking on who's done a great job the last couple of years, I think Dearden should be picked over Munster.
yeah. Like
And I know a lot of people won't like hearing that.
I understand your logic, but we lost last year without
And
Munster.
to be fair, in that game 3 last year when New South Wales beat Queensland at Suncorp, Dearden was probably Queensland's best player. He probably was. Like, I've watched the game back 2 or 3 times, and Dearden was probably Queensland's best by a long way. So maybe they do go Munster and Dearden after Cherry Evans, but it is a tough one. It's a good headache to have. If you're Billy Slater, you'd be excited for the next couple of weeks because there's going to be some good battles. I think we play Manly in a couple of weeks as well. Dearden will versus Cherry Evans. So that'll be another matchup about Origin as well. So it's a shame we're not playing Melbourne before Origin because that would have just really set it up. Dearden versus Munster. Whoever has the better game gets the 6th jersey. Like, it's a shame we're playing Melbourne in round 14 and round 18 and having to play them, twice in 5 weeks.
And like you said, Munster at Origin is just another beast.
He is, no doubt.
He seems to be that difference for us.
Yeah, he's a game changer, Munster, but really good headache for Billy Slater, no doubt about it. All right, let's get to the tips, and then we'll do the predictions for the Cowboys Warriors, and then we'll get to some line rankings and fan questions. So obviously Magic Round not on until Friday, so not sure what we're all going to do tomorrow night. We're all probably going to go mad. Actually, I think the women's Origin is on tomorrow night, so I'm going to watch that. But you know what? Let's give out predictions for the girls' Origin because the odds are $1.90 each. You think Queensland win that or New South Wales?
Well, I've got to go Queensland.
Well, I'll go the Blues. Go the Blues. I'm from New South Wales, so I'll go back the Blues. But it's so awkward for me when it comes to Origin because there's always like 5 Cowboys players in the Origin team. I'm born and bred from New South Wales, so I have to go against the Cowboys players. Origin's tough time of year for me. Tough.
Yeah.
Difficult stuff. Reece Robson, for example, it'd be tough for him. playing for the Cowboys, playing for New South Wales. Like the banter would be pretty interesting, I imagine.
I think they must, in a way, love it.
Yeah,
You see them; they're so aggressive towards each other, like Payne Haas.
yeah.
He really gives it to his teammates. Like
Yeah, and he's
it
played for the
seems
friggin'
like he
Broncos.
tackles his teammates harder than he tackles anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. All right, magic round tips. So round 9, we got the Sharks and the Eels Friday 6 o'clock. Obviously, all the games at Suncorp. Who do you reckon wins this one? Sharks or Eels?
I'll go for upset. I'll go Eels.
I'll go Sharks, but I'm not that confident if I'm being honest. Roosters versus Dolphins.
I'll go Dolphins.
Yeah, I'll go Dolphins as well. Rabbitohs versus Knights.
Knights aren't going. I'll go the Knights.
You go the Knights.
I'll go for another upset. Finally, surely they got to get it together eventually.
I'm gonna go the Rabbitohs. I have no idea who's gonna win. I think Rabbitohs. I think Rabbitohs are better than Knights. I'll go Rabbitohs, but who knows? We'll get to Warriors Cowboys very soon. Tigers Dragons, another tough game.
I'll go the Dragons.
I'll go the Tigers in that one. Titans and the Bulldogs on Sunday.
Bulldogs.
Yeah, Bulldogs for me. Panthers and Broncos.
Broncos.
Broncos for me too. And the last game should be a cracker. Storm versus Raiders.
Storm.
Yeah, I'll go Storm as well, but don't underestimate the Green Machine in that one. They could win, but I'll go Storm. All right, now Warriors Cowboys. Let's give our predictions for the game. We're both going to be there in the. Hopefully, you're in the Cowboys bar. I know we're still trying to sort out some behind the scenes for all that, but hopefully we can get you in there, Callum. Fingers crossed. It's going to be a great atmosphere regardless. But Warriors, tough team to get it right on. Obviously, we haven't. I think they've won their last 3 against us, so we're due to get one back on them. But what do you reckon? How much are we going to win by, and who's going to score the first try?
I'll go 30 us to 18.
Yep.
Seems to be a common score for us lately.
Yeah,
Who's going to score first?
Last week it was your man. Last week it was Clifford, your man.
I'll go Nenai.
Jeremiah Nanai. I'm going to say Cowboys by 14. I think we can get away with a nice win. If I had to go a score prediction, I've got a feeling it could be high scoring, actually. I'm going to go Cowboys. I'll go 34-20. High scoring game. 34-20. First try scorer, I'm going to go with Scott Drinkwater to score the first try. I'll go Scott Drinkwater. And I want your roughy anytime try scorer. Who's going to score a try in the Cowboys? Who's going to score a try for the Cowboys this week that might be a little bit unexpected?
Oh, unexpected. Well, the expected will be Drinky and Derby.
Yeah, and Talangi and all that.
Unexpected. Hesse.
Big Cohen Hess.
Well, you know what? Year, has he?
No, he hasn't. No. I'm going to go with my man, Harrison Edwards. Harrison Edwards has not scored a try in the NRL ever. And I'm going to... No, Harrison Edwards has actually never scored a try. And I'm going to say, with it being Magic Round, Harry Edwards will score this weekend. He will score his first try in the NRL at Magic Round this weekend. Go Harry Edwards.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'll go nuts if he scores. I'll go nuts.
It'd be good odds too, wouldn't it?
I might even have a look at what he's paying while we're on here. Might even have a look. I might have a cheeky $10 on him, $5
I
on
reckon
him.
that'd be a good multi.
Oh, jeez, it paid.
Nanai,
Sure would.
Drinky, Derby, Hess, and Edwards. There you go, guys. Put
Fuck.
$2.50 on it. It'll probably
Harrison
pay
Edwards.
about $3,000.
Harrison Edwards to score a try at any time is $9.
Oh, yeah, I thought he'd be more than that.
$9. So you put 10 on that, you win 90. Wait, who are the try scorers again? I'm gonna have a look how much it's paying.
What did I say? Nanai, Drinky,
Yep. Robert Derby, you said.
Drinky,
Hess and Edwards, wasn't it?
and Harrison and Hesse.
Oh, so Drinking, Nanai, Rob Derby, Hess, and what? Edwards.
Edwards.
The odds are about $656.
And put a power play on.
If you put Cowboys to win as well, you're getting about $750. Let's have a look here. Say you put 10 on
I
that,
might
you
have
win
to
about.
put a bet on that because if it comes true, I'll be kicking, mate. I'll be killing myself.
Oh, mate, if that gets up and you didn't, if you weren't on it, you'd be, oh, jeez, be kicking all right. All right, awesome stuff. Right now, the blind ranking. So good old fun blind ranking. So, I've got it written down. Sorry, mate. I was just reading something. You got to be fucking kidding me. So, Sunrise are going to be at Suncorp tomorrow morning at 5:30, and they want Cowboys fans to be there. Why the fuck? Hang on. Why would they want us to be there on tomorrow? We don't play till Saturday.
What's that?
So Sunrise are going to be at Suncorp Stadium tomorrow, and they're asking for some Cowboys fans to head towards the Wally Lewis statue from 5:30 a.m. to about 7:30, and they want to interview Cowboys fans about your love for the club.
On a Thursday?
They're doing it tomorrow. Why tomorrow?
Yeah.
We don't play till Saturday.
So that means you'd have to get there Wednesday. So they're obviously only targeting Cowboys that live in Brisbane.
I'm not going to Brisbane at that time in the morning. I'd love to, but what the heck? Why wouldn't they do it on Friday morning or Saturday morning?
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I'd have to have
Anyway.
way too many days off work.
I'm not going to Brisbane and coming all the way back and then going again on Saturday or Friday. I ain't doing that. Not a chance. But yeah, that's madness to me. All right, blind rankings. So I've got players that have retired and no longer play, so it makes it a bit more fun. So my turn to ask you this week, Callan. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, blind rankings from 5 to 1, with 1 being the best, 5 being the worst, and everything in between. All right, first player, Antonio Winterstein.
Ooh.
Where
He's
would you
one of my
rank him?
favourites.
Great winger.
3.
Number 3 for Winterstein. All right, next one. Brett Furman.
Brett Furman. When did he? What position was he? He doesn't.
He was
So
in the halves with Thurston for a lot of 2005 and 06.
I'll go 5.
You don't remember him? Just put him at 5. That's fair enough. All right. Next one. You may remember this guy, or you may not remember him. He used to play on the wing for us from about 2008 to 2010.
Ash Graham. All right.
John Williams.
John Williams.
Yes. Remember John Williams?
No, I don't. He doesn't stand out to me either.
He was the white fella on the right wing. He would goal kick as well. 2008 to 2010, obviously, were quite shit during that
So he would have
period.
been playing outside Bowman or Hannay.
I think Hannay was retired by then, but he would have been playing outside Ash Graham, I think.
Or, I'll go 4.
Yep. All right. All right. Now, last 2. Next one, we're going to go Willie Tonga.
Let's see, he's a Cairns boy.
Yeah.
2.
Ooh, so you left number 1 open. All right, number 1. You would remember this guy. I'll be surprised if you don't remember this one. Travis Burns.
Yeah, I remember him.
Travis Burns is your number 1.
Yep.
All right, so number 5, you've got Brett Furman. Number 4, John Williams. Number 3, Antonio Winterstein. Number 2, Willie Tonga. Number 1, Travis Burns.
I think Furman come from St. George, didn't he? Or Manly.
Somewhere there, yeah.
Yeah, I vaguely remember him.
If you had your time over again, I'm sure you would want Willie Tonga at 1.
Yeah. Or even Winterstein. Yeah. I loved him.
Yeah, Winterstein was a great player. Great player. Overall, I think you've done pretty well, to be honest. I think it's a pretty good list. John Williams at 4 or 5 is probably about right. And, yeah, I think you've done pretty well. I think that's a good list. Done well. Done bloody well there. All right. Let's get a couple fan questions, and we will get on out of here. Couple fan questions to wrap up the show. There is actually quite a few this week, so I'll.
Is there any? Oh bloody hell! I can't remember.
I'll try.
A couple of my mates from work reckon they were going to be watching tonight.
Yeah, right. Well, there's a few questions here. So the first one comes from. It's a pretty funny question. Stanley from Port Macquarie asks, "Are you going to bring the drum to Magic Round?" I believe Stanley must have came up to the Broncos game where I had the drum there. Yes, I will be bringing the drum. Chris from Cessnock. Wow, people coming from all over the place. He asked, "Who do you believe was better, Lachlan Coote or Matt Bowen?"
Oh, Matt Bowen by a country mile.
I know a lot of people ask that all the time because Coote won the grand final and Bowen didn't, and I know people like to use that narrative. Oh, but Coote was influential. Blah blah blah. Listen, Matty Bowen's the best fullback the club's ever had, and he's a freak. Matt Bowen was a freak.
If Matty Bowen was playing for us that year,
yeah,
it definitely wouldn't have hampered. And I'll tell you what, when Lachlan Coote was one of the options for Thurston to pass to when he was running backwards. He looked at Coote and then he went, nah, and then he saw Morgan. I bet you if Matty Bowen was standing there, he would have passed it to Matty Bowen.
100%.
He was a freak, mate. I've seen him step around players in our in goal and score a try. 5 or 6 players, man.
One of the best. Honestly, I think Matt Bowen's probably the second best player of all time for the Cowboys. Like, I know people talk about Matt Scott and Taumalolo and all these sort of players, but Matty Bowen, man, was obviously Thurston's probably the best we ever had. I think he is, but Bowen's easily number 2 for me anyway.
Matty Bowen's my favourite. I was at his last game.
Yeah.
We played Tigers. We won. I think it was one of the first times, or might have been second time that I met him. Such a very shy guy, humble guy. I went to, when he was playing for the Blackhawks, I was waiting outside the dressing room for him. And one of his teammates come out and he's, well, you right? And I go, yeah, I'm just waiting for Matty. And he just walks inside about 15, 30 seconds later, Matty Bowen comes walking straight out, says g'day to me, get a photo with him. Mate, absolute legend. If you're not convinced watching the highlight reel of his Cowboy days, go and watch
I've
him in
seen
the
it.
Super League, mate. Jeez, he
Yeah,
made people look stupid over there.
at Wigan, it was unbelievable when he went over there. Couple other questions to get to. There's quite a few here this week, which is really good. Greg from Rocky asks, "What is the best away game you have both attended?" Away game. All right. I'm just going to assume that regular season games only. I'll say, well, probably the Roosters game last year at Allianz, to be honest. That was a good one. What about you, Callan?
I think it'd have to be the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it was a good night. It was a great night. That was one of the great nights. All right, we got one here from Brian. He wants to know, do you think if Tom Duffy comes into the side now that he would excel with his chance? I think he would,
Oh, he probably would, but like,
it's hard to drop anyone.
yeah, I'm sorry to sound disrespectful, but like this obsession with Duffy, when Clifford, every time he stepped up, the team's turned around. Get rid of Chad, we turn it around with Clifford. Get rid of Duffy, we turn it around with Clifford.
I think Duffy will be. I think Duffy will be good long term. I think the first two games were a bit tough for him, but I have no doubt. I have no doubt he'll be back eventually, and he will get another chance.
I'd have Purdue.
Yeah,
like if we didn't have an option for 7, like Clifford got injured or whatever,
yeah.
I would put Purdue at number 7, and I would put Labert in the centre.
I'd probably do that as well. I think I would do the same.
He is a freak, that Purdue, and he just gets better and better. He's always looking. You can see that halfback in him, the way that he attacks the ball.
There. He's busy. I love what I've seen from him, to be honest. All right, last question. We'll go to the chat for the last question. When you first got into watching NRL, what made you choose to support the Cowboys? So just a quick story. I'll go through it quickly because I've said it before. Basically, 2005, the Cowboys played the Bulldogs like mid-year on the Gold Coast. I think it might have been Carrara. And it was 2005. And back in those days, there would be 2 games on Friday night. And because I live in New South Wales, the Cowboys game would always be a 9:30 replay game, but it would be live to me because I wouldn't use technology to find the result. I'd watch it on TV like it was live. And we played the Dogs, who were the defending champs at the time, and I think we won like 36-12, and guys like Thurston, Matt Bowen, Ty Williams, Aaron Payne, Matt Singh, they all carved up, and they would just – it was one of the greatest things I ever seen. And that's pretty much how I became a Cowboys fan from that night. It was a night I'll never forget it. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And if you haven't seen that game, guys, go watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube.
Whatever, because that is one of my favourite games. Me, I'm born here, so
yeah,
I'm old. So I was watching. I used to like the Tigers. I was watching the footy in the 80s. So we didn't have any Queensland teams in the competition back then. So I used to like the Tigers, Roach and Gary Jack, what's his name, Gary Freeman, Ciro. They had such a legendary side back then, and they were sort of underdogs too. Wayne Pearce and Broncos in 88. I know a lot of Cowboys hate Broncos. But when we had a Queensland team come into the competition in '88, which basically represented Queensland, and it basically had a state of origin side. I think we had there was a couple of New South Wales origin players in there, Terry Madison, Chris Johns. So, but '95, having that opportunity to represent North Queensland was because we've always had a really good nursery here in North Queensland for superstars that would end up scattered across the the NRL. So having that opportunity to support my region was a dream come true, and being so much more involved, being able to do this podcast with you, Nick, meeting you and going to heaps of away games, it's special.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're making me go all mushy now. But I think we got great supporters. It's funny, the guy at work that was giving me shit because when we had 3 in a row losses, and he was carrying on about that the Titans were above the ladder than us.
Oh my God.
And it was the first day back on Monday, and I had all these lines going in my head and going to be a smart ass, and I never said one word. And then he comes up to me and he's, "Oh, you going to Magic Round?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, I've tipped the Cowboys." And him and his mate are going, "Oh, Cowboys are just shit." And I go, "Who's your team?" And he hesitated. And I go, "What, your team's that bad? You don't even want to tell me?" And now he's, changed his tune. And, to me, that revenge is sweet when you don't have to be a cockhead to rub it in. Like I said to another bloke when he was putting us down, he's, "I suppose you're going to gloat." And I said, "No, I'll just let the school board do that for me."
That's good.
So go the Cowboys, and put it, all the fans who are watching, put in the comments why you love the Cowboys, if you do love the Cowboys.
Yes, if you have a story about how you become a Cowboy supporter, leave it in the comment section. I think Callum will have a good look at it. And
great questions, guys. Great questions.
Yeah, they were good this week. There were quite a few there. There was quite a few fan questions. So, very good. All right, well, that's going to wrap things up. I'll see you on Saturday, probably, Cullen. Should be a lot of fun up there in Brisbane, and hopefully we can make it 5 wins in a row. Should be a great game.
Yeah, can't wait, mate.
Can't wait. I'll see you there. Thanks for the live chat for watching. Appreciate you all. Like and subscribe to the channel. And, of course, we will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care. And go the Cowboys.
Go the Cowboys.